What's up, millennials? In the next coming weeks, some exciting weeks are lying ahead for Polkadot. Today we're going to talk about the Polkadot Decoded event, the Kusama and Polkadot auctions, and some technical analysis. So let's do it! If you missed the Polkadot Decoded event, no worries, you can check out all the videos by going to decoded.polkadot.network, and then you can go on, click on the number on the button, of course, watch replay, then you're going to be brought to a YouTube page with all the recordings of the event. Personally, I watched a barstool chat with Gavin Wood, who is, of course, the founder of Polkadot, and some of his friends and colleagues. It was actually a little bit awkward, maybe, but also a little bit funny at the same time. I kind of felt like I walked in a bar and I was overhearing this conversation between some coding geeks telling stories about how it all started with the Polkadot network. Now, I think the most important note that I retrieved from this barstool chat with Gavin Wood is that Gavin Wood coded Ethereum in just a few weeks, actually, on his own, but there were dozens of developers needed during 3 years, actually, to develop Polkadot. So I believe that Polkadot is kind of way more sophisticated compared to Ethereum, and yeah, let's see if that is going to pay off in the next couple of years. Right now we are on the stage of the Kusama rollout and also the slot auctions. So within 1 week we are going to start these auctions on the Kusama network. This is going to start on June 15th, and these auctions, or at least the first auction, is going to start 1 week, or is going to last for 1 week, my apologies. It's going to start on June 15th until June 22nd. And then when the protocol or the project that wins that first auction, well, that is going to have a slot for a parachain from June 22nd, so the end of the first auction, until May 13th of 2022. So these companies, these protocols, these projects are going to have a slot for a parachain for about 1 year in total. This is what is going to happen with 5 auctions in total. It's just going to go exactly the same way as the first auction, so one every single week. And then when everything is working pretty well, pretty neatly, then we are going to change from 1 auction per week to 1 auction per 2 weeks. And then I believe in the near future, we are going to see the Polkadot auctions happening too. Right now, 2 things are going to need to happen before we can actually roll out the auctions on the Polkadot network. First of all, we need to see a full external audit of the new code, the new logic that is released, because yeah, this new code needs to support the hosting of auctions on the Polkadot network. So first of all, that full external audit needs to happen, and then we also need to see that Kusama, so the entire auction system of Kusama and also the parachain system on Kusama, needs to be successful in the wild, if you will. So we need to see at least 1 successful auction happening. So I think all of this could be happening at the end of this month. I could imagine the auctions on Polkadot starting at the end of this month, or potentially somewhere in July. And if you want to learn a little bit more about these auctions, about parachains, about Kusama, about Polkadot, check out the links in the description below this video. Something that is quite interesting is that Kusama is doing quite a bit better compared to Polkadot with regards to the Kusama token instead of the Polkadot token. You can see that the last couple of weeks, actually, since the entire drop to the downside, we have seen a pretty significant rebound of Kusama, the token. We can see that it has gone up, well, let's actually measure it from bottom to where we are right now. It has gone up about 88% from the candlestick closures to where we are right now. But if you take a look at Polkadot, well, we have basically gone sideways since we dropped all the way down. We did, of course, go up quite a bit still. We did go up about like 32%, but yeah, that's nowhere near the 88%. So it's kind of interesting to see that Kusama is doing way better compared to Polkadot. It could have to do everything with the auction system that is being rolled out on the Kusama network. So you could say potentially that we are seeing a glimpse of the future in the Kusama chart for what is to come for the Polkadot token, of course, in the next coming weeks when we are going to see the auctions happening on Polkadot too. So let's now dive into the chart of Polkadot, the Polkadot token. And by the way, if you also want to learn how to read charts like me, check out nisami.com/TA. There's a complete course for beginners on technical analysis with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Let's go straight to the first bullish sign for Polkadot right now. And if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that we are currently working on an uptrend. We are making higher lows and higher highs, so that is always good to see. We have made a higher low compared to this low, and this was already a higher low compared to this low. And we also created a higher high compared to this high over here. So that means that we are right now in an uptrend, which is a pretty good sign. If we then take a look at the volume of the last couple of weeks, we can see that it is downtrending within a triangle. If you take a look at these volume bars over here on the upper or on the bottom side of the screen, we can see that it is trading within this triangle more or less. It is already pretty far inside of this triangle. I definitely think we could see a breakout of this volume happening quite soon, potentially within a week or so. And let's see if we're going to see that breakout happening of this volume, if that is going to lead to a breakout of the price action to the upside. Then if we check out the support levels, we can see that there is some pretty significant support around $18.60, not only because of this low over here from just a few weeks ago, but also because of this high and this low all the way back in February 2021, so this year of course. I do think we are likely going to stay above this level of $18.60. If we do drop below that, however, I think the next major important support level would be around $15.30, which was a pretty significant support level all the way back in January and February this year too. Also, if we turn on the volume profile, we can see that there is quite a lot of volume around this region below $18 more or less. So I think that there are likely a lot of people who put in quite some buy orders in the past there. So I do think that could be an additional argument for pretty good support around that level. If we are looking to the upside, however, for resistance, we can see that according to the volume profile, there is quite a lot of volume around the level or above the level of $33 per coin per token. So I do think that there is going to be some resistance to be had. And if we turn off the volume profile, we can also see that the $31 level more or less, that is going to be a quite significant level, mainly because of these three lows in place. We saw a big low over here on the 26th of February 2021, around $31. We saw a pretty impressive low over here at the end of March 2021, around $30. And we saw a big low over here at the end of April, around $29. So I do think that region between $29 and $31 could be a potential big area of resistance. Then if we take a look at some of the indicators, first of all, the RSI, we can see first of all bullish divergence happening in the last couple of weeks, but I think that has already played out. Bullish divergence meaning that the price action is making lower lows, whereas the indicator, in this case the RSI, is making higher lows instead. So we see a low over here and a higher low over here on the RSI, but if we go to the price action, we see a low over here and a lower low on the price action chart. But as we have seen previously in this video, the token has already gone up about 30% in value or so. So I believe that that has already kind of played out, and I don't think we are going to see more upside because of that bullish divergence happening over here. If we go back to the RSI, we can see that currently it's hovering around the exponential moving average on the RSI, so it's not super strong just yet. I would like to see it stay above above that EMA, of course. So I would like to see this blue line, the RSI, maintaining itself above the white line, which is the EMA. And I would also like to see this EMA, this white line, going back to the upside instead of just being sideways over here. And let's then also take a look at the MACD for now. It is actually at the lowest point ever, or actually a few days ago it was at the lowest point ever, and now it is crossing back to the upside. So we see a nice cross between the MACD, which is this blue line over here, crossing versus the signal line, the orange line. And that is usually a good sign. So if you want my personal thoughts about this price action of this Polkadot token right now, and this is of course not financial advice, then I believe the indicators like the RSI and the MACD have been reset. We are trading above important support levels. We are back in an uptrend, making higher lows, higher highs. We are also seeing the volume decreasing over time, potentially leading to a breakout happening soon within a week or so. So my conclusion here is that the likelihood of a breakout to the upside is probably higher than a breakout to the downside. If I would have to put a percentage to that, I would say that it is about 75% likely that we're breaking to the upside in the next coming weeks, and about 25% likelihood of a breakout to the downside in the next coming weeks. And that is also because of the catalyst of the parachain auctions on not only the Kusama network, but also on the Polkadot network. So I think we're going to see exciting times for Polkadot ahead in the next coming weeks because of these rollouts on Kusama and Polkadot. The charts of Kusama and Polkadot look pretty solid right now, and we could have seen the ultimate lows already. So I'm very much wondering what you think. Do you believe that we are going to test some upside in the next coming weeks, or do you believe we're going lower? Let me know in the comments. And with that being said, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye!